it was just me with my cup of coffee today. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm your host, Raul Cruz, and this is a Nintendo Direct special edition of the Nintendo Newsroom. Look, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing, Fire Emblem. So, I wasn't expecting a Fire Emblem game in the Nintendo Direct. If anything, I was expecting Advance Wars. So, we haven't had Advance Wars since 2008, and I know that recently Intelligent Systems said, look, if Nintendo gives us Advance Wars, we will work with Advance Wars. And so I'm thinking, okay, they will probably announce Advance Wars for this one, but even though they did not, I was still pleasantly surprised to know that there's a new Fire Emblem game that they've been working on. And I've been a Fire Emblem fan, not from the beginning, but I started playing it with Path of Radiance on the GameCube, then Radiant Dawn on the Wii. I've also played both of the Game Boy Advance games, Fire Emblem and Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I know that Fire Emblem has a huge following in history in Japan. I believe the newest Fire Emblem game is their 14th installment, and so they've been around for a while, since the NES. And I am trying to play those old ones, but new Fire Emblem game, I'm very excited. And we know, for those of you who saw the video, when you first saw it, it didn't look like Fire Emblem. It was this war in what looked like feudal Japan. There was this crazy looking golem colossus figure with a coin for a face, and it looked like Zeus on the coin. And then it transitions into that very recognizable Fire Emblem Awakening art. So it is the same artist, and some funny comments I've been seeing about the game is that now they have feet. So for those of you who have not played Fire Emblem Awakening, they didn't have feet, and when you read the interviews of why they did that, they kind of just like the style of it, right? Of their legs kind of just diminishing, and then they just had nubs. And so on this one, they had feet. So some cool new things that we saw was when you get into a battle, instead of it just kind of flashing into the battle, it does this cool pan-in transition effect. So it looks really awesome and sleek. Again, same artist, and I'm very excited. So I am going to pre-order this game as soon as, I can. My favorite Fire Emblem game so far is Fire Emblem Awakening, and so knowing that it's the same artist and the same team, I'm very excited to buy it. And I'm just excited. So please email us if you're just excited as I am, or if you're gonna pre-order it. And now moving on to the next thing that I've been excited about, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. And so for a while, right, the last couple of months, here in the US, a lot of Monster Hunter fans have been a bit frustrated. So Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, over there, Monster Hunter 4 G was released a couple months back. Europe already got a release date. And a couple of days ago, there was a leaked poster from GameStop that had two new 3DSs on the right middle side, and then it had Majora's Mask and Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the left side, saying, have you seen it? And the release date being February 13th. So we kind of knew, okay, this could be fake, this could be real. But yes, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate in the US will be released February 13th. And all the Monster Hunter groups I'm part of on Facebook have been going crazy, because we've been waiting for a release date, right? I've been playing Monster Hunter, I'm a recent hunter. I've only been playing Monster Hunter since Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I played the other ones as well, but I really got into the series with Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. And yeah, we finally got a release date. I've been waiting for one, and I pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition on GameStop. So the Ultimate Edition, you get a cool chest box, you get a cleaning cloth, you get a cool monster figure, you get 2 pins, one from Capcom, one from GameStop, and I believe you also get a book. I want to say it's an art book. Nah, I pre-ordered it and I don't even know what I'm getting. It's $60. So it's not that bad as far as Ultimate or Collector's Editions go because the game is $40. So you're only going to pay an extra $20 to get all that cool swag. And so if you have not had a chance to pre-order it, I would say go with the Ultimate Edition. It only an extra $20 and you get a bunch of cool swag. But the coolest part to this is that we know that a couple days back, right, once the Nintendo Direct was broadcast, that Europe got demo codes, download codes to download the demo for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So the Reddit groups I'm following, they've been going crazy, because each person that got an email from Nintendo got 4 download codes. So 1 for yourself and 3 to give to other people. And so yesterday, which was today, January 15th, people were going crazy on the groups I'm following on Facebook because people started receiving download codes midday. And this same thing happened to me in Pokemon with Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire demo download codes, right? So I see people got it. I'm freaking out thinking, what? Come on, Nintendo, not cool. Like, I want my download demo code, but I get you. You're trying to, up the hype. You can make it limited. But, and I was trying to get some codes. I couldn't get any. But luckily, about 4 to 5 hours later, I got an email with download codes. So I used one. I've given one away to a friend of mine. But the demo, amazing, right? So from the first thing I noticed was the movement of the character. So for those of you who played Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, the character feels heavy. Feels heavier than it does in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. And that's not a bad thing, right? So a good example would be the way you climb in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is if you're climbing a ledge, he takes or she takes their time to climb that ledge or to climb anything. It takes a while for you to climb. You could tell they're struggling. But in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, they've made it sleeker. So now you could just jump over ledges. The climbing is so much faster, and you could just notice it from the get-go. When you jump off a ledge, you could attack in the air. You could jump on the monster and do this cool little mini game on the back and start, slashing away. And one of the funny things I noticed was also the bombs look better. So Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for 3DS, and I have both the 3DS version and the Wii U version. But on the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate for the 3DS, the bombs just look so much better. The texture is better. There's more details in there, and just something as small as that showed me that the team has been working very hard in the last couple of years to improve their series, right? And they're not afraid to experiment. They could have kept it the same and said, "Look, your characters still feel heavy. You still have to climb ledges," but they've taken the time to say, "Okay, how can we improve on this system to make it even better?" And it came out great so far by what I can see with the demo. So in the demo, you get to choose between beginner and experienced. I chose experienced because, I have 160 hours in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which is nothing. That is a drop in the bucket to what I've seen other people have. It's like, I know someone that has 600 hours in it. But, I think I'm a little experienced. But yeah, amazing demo. Check it out. You get to use 12 weapons from the series, and you get to use the new one, the Switchblade, and I believe they call it the Bug Staff. I really like the Switchblade a lot. The Charge Blade, not the Charge Blade, and I've been using that. And I like the Switch Axe from Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and so the Charge Blade is kind of like that. It just uses a sword and shield rather than the axe. It's faster than the Switch Axe. It doesn't feel as heavy, even though I love the Switch Axe. The weight of it's great for damage. But yes, I do recommend the Charge Blade. I was able to get all the moves right from within the first 10 minutes. And, if you're one of the lucky people that got a download demo code, please, tell us what you think about it. Email us, email me. I'm very excited about it. And yeah, I'll be playing that until February 13th when the game is released, right before Valentine's Day. Gotta continue on with Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. They are also releasing on February 13th a special edition of the new 3DS for Monster Hunter. So, if you want to buy a new 3DS and you're a fan of the Monster Hunter series, you get this cool, sleek. It's a silver new 3DS with design of a monster from the series on the lower right hand corner. Looks really sick, looks really cool, and you get a digital download with your new 3DS, very similar to the Link Between Worlds 3DS special edition is the one I have, right? So you get a digital download with it. I don't like digital downloads, right? I like seeing my games in the physical, on my cool shelf. I like to see all my games, but to be fair, that is a sweet looking new 3DS, so I do recommend it. Other cool news. Aside from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate being released on February 13th, Majora's Mask will also be released on February 13th. This really surprised me. So I thought, okay, there's no way Majora's Mask is going to be released this early, right? I was expecting, June, July maybe, because they've made no announcement about release date. They've shown us a very small clip of the game. So I'm thinking, no, they need their time. There's no way they're going to release this, the first quarter. But, again, with as the Fire Emblem trailer show, that really surprised me. But this also surprised because I did not expect to get this game this early. I pre-ordered already. For those of you who wanted the special collector's edition, right, with the Skull Kid, those sold out in, I hear, 15 minutes or so. They're also releasing a new 3DS Majora's Mask edition. So it's a gold one. It's a gold new 3DS. And the connecting part, right, the part that folds up, that's black. And on the 3DS, you can see Majora's Mask in the middle. And then on each of the corners is a mask from the game, right? So you have the Goron mask. You have the... Oh, wow. I'm forgetting all the names right now. You have the... Wow. Can't remember all the names, even though I passed the game so many years ago. But anyway, you get the four masks in the corner. It looks pretty cool. So if you are planning to buy a new 3DS, I would recommend one of those two on February 13th. I'm not going to buy one on the first day. I have a rule. I don't buy systems on the first day. And I already have my Link Between Worlds Special Edition, so I'm just going to play on that. Even though I really want a new 3DS, I'm just going to wait a couple months and buy it in a couple months. But yeah, if you're going to order it, if you order, send a picture. I'm down to see, what you buy. And, I did play Majora's Mask for the 64. I played and passed it. And I'm going to discuss what are the new mechanics to it or how they streamlined it, because there are some people that are hesitant about it. They say, look, they're going to make it easier. The whole point of Majora's Mask is that it is a challenging Zelda game. Now, I don't recommend Majora's Mask off the bat to people that are trying to get into Zelda games, right? The only two I have not passed are Zelda 2, Link's Adventure, and the Four Swords. I'm about a third of the way, into Four Swords, but the reason I don't recommend Majora's Mask is because I understand they need patience for it. To appreciate Majora's Mask, you need to have patience, because it does something that no other Zelda game does. It gives you a time constraint, and it makes you a more strategic player because you have 3 days, right? It is a stopwatch. You have this amount of time to do this task that you want to do, and you have to reset the whole game. And a great example, when I first played the game, I got really frustrated with the first dungeon because I was getting acclimated with the games, with the mechanics of the game. You can't just save on the fly. You have to always play a Song of Time or use an owl statue, which are not all over the world. But I understood why they did that. For the game to make sense in the way they wanted to develop and how you want to play the game, that's how they had to do it. Right? They had to space things out. The 3-day mechanic couldn't work unless, you had to keep going back because you had to keep replaying the same 3 days. But I really got into a game around the second dungeon. I started having fun with the game at the second dungeon. And so with the 3DS version, they're putting more owl statues everywhere. A cool thing is now if you play the Song of Double Time, you could actually choose what hour in the game you want to go to rather than, let me go to the afternoon of this day and then I'm going to wait 6 hours or whatever. But yes, they made it more streamlined, and this is not going to take away the challenge of the game. It's just going to make it more friendly for people who have not played Majora's Mask, right? So if they kept it the same with new graphics, I would have been fine. But I can understand how someone might be put off by the mechanics of it, and they miss out on a great game. So I'm really excited about the changes. They're just going to add to it. They're just going to make it more streamlined for both veteran players of the game and new players of the game, and just as enjoyable. And so if you have not pre-ordered this game, please pre-order. If you have a 3DS, this is a must-have title for the 3DS. And it's a great Zelda game. I talked so much trash about this game before I played it. at the time, my Zelda games at the time were Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Link's Awakening, and so with Majora's Mask changing so much, not even a lot, it was just, they just added the time constraint and all that, but I hated the game without even playing it, and then once I played it, I fell in love with the game. It is by far one of my favorite Zelda games, because it's so different and so weird. So please, pre-order that if you haven't pre-ordered it. It's a wonderful game. And kind of continuing on with Zelda news, Hyrule Warriors DLC. So, for those of you who've been following us on Instagram or Facebook, Andrea and I have been playing Hyrule Warriors. And, we passed the story portion of it. We're going through the challenges. And the newest DLC is linked to Majora's Mask, so you'll be able to play as Tingle and young Link from Majora's Mask. And Tingle was really funny. I did not expect that at all, right? I probably expected, okay, you could play as, Link, a different version of Link, or I kind of expected Skull Kid. But Tingle's really funny in there, right? He hits you with a sack of rupees. He has all his weird mannerisms and everything. But I'm super excited about Hyrule Warriors. I'm still playing it. And yeah, this would just get me back into playing it even more. Now, another game that I really want to discuss that I don't feel I've discussed too much, or at all, even on the, SSG newsroom, is Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. And I'm not a huge Kirby fan. I don't own Kirby games. The only Kirby game I do own is Kirby and the Canvas Curse for the DS. And that game was one of the first games I bought for the DS. It is one of my favorite DS games because of the way you play it, right? When I first played it, I thought, this kind of meh. But the more I played, the more I got hooked. And it's one of my favorite games of all time. Like, literally, it is in mint condition on my shelf. I, still play it. I'm going to be playing it more this year because of the Rainbow Curse. But the Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for the Wii U uses the same mechanics as in Canvas Curse, right? Where you use a stylus to draw paths. For Kirby, Kirby's just a ball, or he just kind of rolls. At least in Canvas Curse, he's a ball. In this one, he just looks like he's kind of just rolling. And you control him through just these paths you draw. And I love it because it reminds me very much of kind of like a Flash game, right? A game that you might just play here and there, but they extended it to this great game you could play for a couple hours. And it's gonna be released February 20th for the Wii U, so I am gonna buy it. Really excited, and I'm hoping it's very similar to Canvas Curse, because if it is, I'm just gonna love this game. And so if you have not had a chance to check it out, please check out Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for the Wii U. And if you haven't had a chance to play Kirby and the Canvas Curse, buy that on Amazon. I don't know how much it is there on Amazon, but yeah, check it out. Hopefully it's not too much, or maybe you could buy it used or something, even though it's a very old DS game. Alright, next, new amiibos. So, since the amiibos were released, right, there's not a single amiibo that I've been really excited about. And Link looks awesome. I was gonna get Peach. I was thinking of getting Ike from Fire Emblem. But I kept, asking anyone in the SSG crew, and I kept saying, look, when they release a Lucina amiibo, I will buy that thing first day. Right? I could wait with other amiibos, I don't really mind. But yes, they are releasing, along with other new amiibos, they're releasing the Lucina amiibo. And this is the one I want to discuss the most because it's not a character that gets too much attention in the States here, right? I know Lucina is far more popular in Japan. In Japan, for the Monster Hunter Frontier? I want to say, no, it's Monster Hunter Frontier. I want to say it's the Monster Hunter Frontier for the PlayStation Vita. No, for the 3D, for the Wii U. In Japan, they released Chrom and Lucina skins for Monster Hunter. So you get to play as Chrom and Lucina. And yeah, when I saw the Lucina amiibo, in the Nintendo Direct, super excited. I'm gonna get it first day, and I'm hoping it's not as difficult to get as the Marth or the Little Mac amiibos are. It's not a popular character here in the States, but I know there is now this movement of collecting amiibos, so I am kind of scared about that one because I know that might be an amiibo that becomes a rare amiibo because of its low demand. So as soon as I can pre-order, I'm gonna pre-order right away. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I am a huge fan of Fire Emblem Awakening, and my favorite character on there is Lucina. And for those of you who are Lucina fans as well, you could also get from Figma a Lucina figure. very similar to the Link, Skyward Sword Link, figure from Figma. And, she has so many joints to move around. You can interchange her mask, her face, her hair. It looks really great. And you could buy it from the big bad toy store. And I believe it's 60 or $70. So I am also going to buy that one as well. Huge Lucina fan. Excited about this amiibo. And I'm kind of sorry I just went on with Lucina amiibo. I'm just saying it's not one that gets a lot of attention. So I'm super excited about that. And, moving in, last bit of news for the 3DS. I guess something that I'm really excited about for the 3DS is Codename Steam. So Codename Steam, they introduced in the last E3. It didn't get a lot of attention from too many, people or game journalists. And I know it's created by the same company that makes Advance Wars and Fire Emblem, Intelligent Systems. And so from the get-go, this game interests me just because of that, right? Just because I know that Intelligent Systems makes great games. Codename Steam is revolved around Abraham Lincoln gets a crew, like this cool army to fight aliens. And so I love the quirky story. And it's a tactics game very similar to Fire Emblem or Advance Wars, but the difference is that you use Steam to move. So you have every step takes up your Steam, and you can only move as much you can only move as long as you have that Steam, and once that Steam is gone, well, you can't move anymore. The cool thing is that you could go backwards. So say if you move a couple steps forward and you mess up, right? And for those of you who played Advanced Wars, this happens a lot, right? When there's the fog of war and you move a couple steps and then you run into a bunch of enemies you didn't want to run into, but, okay, you can't take that move back. But in this one, you could take that move back. So it looks like a great concept, looks like a great game. It's very much American comics art style. And I'm very excited about it. I am going to buy it, but not probably mid-year. I'll buy it, right? I'll be busy with Majora's Mask and I'll be busy with Monster Hunter Ultimate for the first half of the years, and Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, Hyrule Warriors. I have a lot on my plate for the first year, but yes, I am gonna eventually buy this game. So if you have not had a chance to check it out, please check it out. Now let's move on to Wii U. Okay, Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles X. I've been following this game since they announced the trailer. I have played Xenoblade Chronicles. I haven't passed Xenoblade Chronicles. I was a bit put off by the English voice acting. I don't know why. Something about the English voice acting, and I rarely complain about these things, but something about the English voice acting in Xenoblade Chronicles I don't really like. So most of the time I played in Japanese. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles to me looks better as far as art style goes. So just a good example would be Shulk's clothing, right, in Xenoblade Chronicles. I know this is very shallow, thing to nitpick about, but somehow I'm like, you don't look cool. You don't really remind me of Xenogears too much, because in Xenogears and the Xeno Saga series, right, they're very futuristic, very sci-fi. Not all of them, right? A lot of the characters do look very bland, but somehow his character wasn't that interesting to me. It was not interesting to me at all. I like the other characters in the game rather more than I like Shulk, even though I think Shulk is a cool character, just not the most interesting character. Maybe I should play the whole thing before I start criticizing. I'll play the whole thing, okay? I'll take all that back. But anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles to me looks more sci-fi, right? I don't know about the timeline in there, but it looks way more sci-fi. The cool thing they include a futuristic Los Angeles. So I live in Los Angeles, just knowing that my city has been included in this game, very excited. I've always been a fan of mechs, right? When I first played Xenogears, I love the mech idea. I watch Gundam, anything with giant fighting robots, Pacific Rim, I love. So Xenoblade Chronicles, looks like a great game. I've been following it. I'm hoping that it should be released this year. They haven't set a release date, but as soon as it's released, I'm buying the same day. Now, the last game I do want to discuss is Splatoon. The reason I say this for the end is because it is a game that I haven't paid too much attention to. When it was first introduced in E3, I brushed it off. It didn't look too interesting. I was thinking, oh, well, it's a paintball. It's a shooter just with paintballs. All right, that looks fun, but it's not my type of game. But the more I see of the game, the more interested I am in it. Even though we did see a lot of gameplay at E3, in the Nintendo Direct, you saw more of, what goes on outside of the battle. So this is a game that I'm going to be watching, and I'm hoping that it is better than what I'm expecting it to be. I'm hoping it's a hidden gem of the Wii U or something. And the multiplayer looks great. It looks like a lot of fun. It's not as intense or hardcore as other, first-person shooter games, but maybe that's what will make it great. I'll give that a chance. And last bit of news that I really want to discuss was the new 3DS. I mentioned it a bit when I was talking about Monster 4 Ultimate and Majora's Mask for the 3DS, because they're going to be releasing special editions for the new 3DS for those games. And, I've been following the new 3DS since I saw the first trailer. I was really excited. The one I want is the standard edition. So here in the US, they're going to release a new 3DS on February 13th, but it's just the XL edition, or what they call in Japan the LL edition, right? It's the bigger 3DS, new 3DS. I understand why in the US they're releasing only that version, right? The US market for Nintendo tends to like the bigger ones, right? As they say, everything Americans are big, we like, large things and all that, but I want the standard edition. I want just the regular standard new 3DS because I like the white, right? That it has the white paint on it. And the buttons are colored in the same way as the Super Nintendo buttons are colored. So when I first saw that, I go, oh man, I want the standard edition, but I know why I'm not getting the standard edition in the US. If anything, I'm just going to import the standard edition from Japan and buy Japanese games. I've been wanting to do that. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to buy the new 3DS until a couple months from now. I have a rule where I don't buy new systems on the first day, or the first set I don't buy. But I am hoping that, we are going to get a ton of different colors and schemes, and I'm hoping that they do release a standard edition, in a couple months after they see, okay, the XLs have sold great, and we'll release a standard edition. So I'm waiting for the standard edition. If not, I'll import from Japan, not a problem. I know that not everyone on the internet, right? There are some critics right now, that are jumping on to attack Nintendo because it doesn't come with a charger. So if you were to buy a new 3DS XL here in the US, it will not come with a charger. This is standard practice in Japan. So in Japan, Nintendo has been doing this for years. The reason it's common practice in Japan is because the Japanese gamers love Nintendo handhelds. So they probably own the DSi to the 3DS to every single Nintendo handhelds, and Nintendo uses the same charger for all their handhelds. So the DSi charger works for the new 3DS. Now, when this makes sense to me, right, as a person who's been buying Nintendo for a while, that the charger would not be included in there, because I already have one. It is bad. It's not that bad for people that are barely getting into the new 3DS. So I paid $250 for my standard 3DS when it was first released. So that means if you're to buy a new 3DS XL, you're only paying $199. You buy a charger, you're paying $215 with tax. That comes out to about $230, right? So it's not that bad. And that's just for the XL, right? When the XLs were first released, they were pretty expensive. I don't understand why people make a big deal about it, right? Not everyone's making a big deal. There are people that jump on the Nintendo attack from the get-go. I don't know that I can, but it's not that big a cost to me, even though it's $15 for those of you who grew up in the 90s or the 80s. Like, handhelds cost, they burn a hole in your pocket with batteries, right? I spend hundreds of dollars on batteries, and did not hear a single complaint from me. I want to play a game. This is how it is. I can't complain. I'm just gonna buy the batteries in the end anyway. So yeah, please buy a new 3DS. If you're a new buyer, it's only a $15 charger. If you're very savvy like I am, you could find a charger for $5 at a swap meet or a garage sale. Especially here in LA, you could find them for $6-7 on Amazon. They're not that expensive. And please buy one. So don't let that whole charger thing, don't let anyone else convince you. You shouldn't buy it. It's a great system, great library. It's gonna be a more powerful system with, more different types of games. I would say more powerful games, right? As far as HD and all that goes. But please check it out. And should be a great buy. And with that, if you have not followed us on Facebook, make sure to follow us under Super Smart Gaming. Our Instagram is super_smart_gaming. Our Twitter is Super Smart Gaming. We also have been uploading videos to our YouTube channels. We have 2 YouTube channels. Super Smart Gaming is just our regular one, and then I believe we have one called Super Smart Gaming Let's Plays, where we upload our Let's Plays. All our info I'm going to be posting on Facebook. Also, email us at supersmartgaming.ssg@gmail.com. And also make sure to review us on iTunes and Podomatic. And check. Oh, we're also uploading all our episodes to YouTube. So make sure if you don't have any of those two, to check us out on YouTube. Or tell your friends to check us out on YouTube. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. It was just me with my cup of coffee today. And I hope I entertained you at least for a little bit. Alright, with that, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful month and a wonderful year. Alright, later.